I love this. And I've been so lucky to have presented with you a number of times. And one of the things that you say when you present, you said in this book, and I laughed out loud when I read it, which is like, okay, listen, I know
You
at the
hard
beginning,
caps LOL, and that made me feel really good.
yeah, I
You
mean, did I?
LOL,
Oh my
yeah.
gosh,
You
yeah.
hard caps.
I'd probably put a couple exclamation points and a red heart. It's my signature. And so when you present, you say things like, "All right, everyone, like I want to honor you as learners, and the only thing I'm going to ask, of you today is that you like interact with each other and me in the way that you want your students to show up every single day." And like whenever I'm presenting with you, I'm always struck by how brilliant that is because I think that there's this like tendency, and
Hmm.
I'm going to take one for the team here, is that like I'm like I want people to treat me like this, but I'm busy. So when I'm in a PT,
Right.
right,
Right.
sometimes I get swept up and I'm like, oh, I'm going to check these things. And what I love about this is just like the vulnerability right from the beginning of like, listen, we're asking our kids to show up every day, we're asking our teachers to show up every
Yeah.
day, but how are we showing up in this work? So talk a little bit more about that.
Yeah, and it's funny because we were talking about this before the podcast. It was there's I think this is like kind of innately in teachers. There's a little like don't tell me what to do, and we'll talk about that. And so a group reached out to me and they said, "Hey, you have to do learning norms today." I'm like, "I'm not doing learning norms.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like them. I don't because it's like, hey, we all agreed to this." I'm like, "No, I didn't. I didn't agree to any of this." So where you getting? I agreed. So I was like, they're kind of pushing me on this. So I was thinking, okay, what can I do that would be true to what I believe, who I am, but also challenge some thinking? And it was, hey, I was asked to do learning norms, and I told them I'm like I'm not a big fan,
Uh-huh.
but since I have to do it because this was asked of me, all want you to do is this: learn in a way you'd expect from your students.
Yep.
And it's like interesting because people are like, huh. And then they start going, could we actually do that? Like, could we?
Is
Could
it
we do
is
that?
it possible? Is it
Yeah.
reasonable?
And so but the thing I think there's a lot of this in the book. I don't tell you what I expect from students. It is
Yeah.
meant to be the conversation you have. It's like, well, what do we expect from students? And are we actually doing any of that stuff? And you can see like some of the interactions I talk about, some of the things that we post online, some of the conversation we have. If our kids did that, we would lose our minds. And
Yeah.
then we see adults doing it, and we're like, well, yeah, because we're older, we're allowed to do some of these things. And it's like, well, what do you think the kids are picking up?
Yeah.
So it is meant to be like, what does that mean? And do we do that? And if we can't do it, why do we expect it from our students? And maybe some of the things that we need to do change, right? And that is because there are times, I've this idea of like, and I've done this before, eyes up here, eyes up here,
Yeah. Yeah.
eyes up here, right? Like
I,
the whole
I
the
used
thing,
to take it one step further. It
right?
was full body, eyes and knees towards
Oh,
me.
right,
I'm like, you better swivel.
right,
You better
okay.
swivel and face me.
Oh, there you go. I didn't know that. I didn't know that
Oh,
was. That must
eyes and
be
knees, baby. Eyes and knees.
well, here's the thing, and you might get me to look at you, but I ain't listening because I'm just staring at you. I don't know what's
What
going
about the
on.
knees? Do I get to see
No,
the knees?
yeah, exactly. But so when I listen to people, I actually turn my head. And it is because my hearing is better.
Do you have
in one
better
ear.
hearing in one
Yeah,
side?
and it's actually so my eye. So like, there's times where, and it's kind of funny because eyes up here. Paige and I will have a conversation. I'll be looking right at her, and she'll go, "What did I say?" I'm like, I don't know. I have no idea what you just said. Because I just start drifting off. Like I could be looking at you,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean I'm listening. And so what it looks like for people is different. So I think it's just meant to be, hey, it's like a super easy learning norm, but it actually
Yeah.
can start a really good conversation. Like, what do we expect from our students? And are we actually doing some of those things? So I think that's why I brought it up. But it's funny because it is that whole thing of like, don't tell me what to do. I don't want to do that.
I
I hate
know.
learning norms. So
But it
okay, I
is.
guess okay, if you're gonna make me do them, that's what I'm doing.
But what's so true is like, again, students experience conflict all the time. Like,
Yeah.
human nature is that like we are going to spend a lot of time agreeing to disagree, right?
Right.
But like when students have these conflicts, we work so hard on like, how do you do that in a way that like really honors the other person, and how do we work together? And so many of even the innovators' mindset characteristics were about like, how do we be more reflective? How can we be more collaborative? And then it's like as adults sometimes, It's like do as I say and
Right.
not as I do. And there's something really beautiful about just acknowledging that, reflecting on that and saying, okay, like how do we move forward truly? We don't all have to be on the same exact page and agree about everything, but I think that we can agree in education that all of us, depending on where we're coming from, we want what's best for kids.